Yes, I've got you under my skin. I've tried so not to give in. I said to myself, this affair ain't never gonna go too well. But why should I try to resist when, baby, I know too well that I've got you.
Hey, welcome back. Thanks for listening to the podcast. Appreciate it. This is a fun one. I sat down with Shawn McDaniel and Ben Hammond. Shawn is the director and Ben is the writer of an amazing web series called My Death Co. on YouTube. And if you're listening to this, you should turn this off and go watch it. The link will be in the show notes. But 6-part web series starring John Huck, who's just an incredible comic, and just crushes it in this web series. It's really good. It's beautifully shot. It's beautifully written. It's great. So I hope you check it out, and I hope you enjoy my conversation with Shawn and Ben. I know I did. So enjoy. Give me a minute to just gush, okay? Because, I rewatched the show again in preparation for this.
You can have as much time as you want to gush, Matt. We're not going to stop.
Oh, man. It is so good. And watching it all in one shot, I mean, the choices you made, the shots you guys chose, the words, the writing, the way it folds together. I mean, Huck is amazing. You know, the casting, he's so perfect for that part. There's so many things I want to find out how you made so many of those choices in there, and but it's so good, dude. So I can't say enough how excellent I think that series is from the very beginning. It's so good. And
thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah, I don't think we would get that same reaction without John Huck. He was absolutely the perfect person to play that character.
Yeah, he's so fun.
Yeah, and we can tell you the whole story how we met and everything. It's been a journey, this whole thing, and we still got lots more to go, but it's definitely been an adventure.
Yeah, I want to hear about it. I mean, I'll put all the links and stuff in the show notes for people so they can get to it, and all that stuff. I mean, honestly, it's been out for a while, like 2 years, right? Was the first time it was out, right?
It was. It's been out a while, but we pulled it from the web for a little bit because we were working on deals and we didn't know how well that was going to play out if we had something we're trying to sell out for free already.
Sure.
So, based on some feedback, we just went, okay, well, we were in some negotiations. We're talking with some folks, so we should probably just pull it.
Yeah.
And then, COVID and this and that. I was like, we should probably just put this out.
Yeah. One of the years doesn't count.
Yeah. We didn't make it for no one to see it. So we were like, let's just put it out, let people watch it, hopefully get some new people in there, getting their eyes on it. So it's back.
Yeah. Yeah. It's honestly so good. And there's so much depth there to explore. So I got to imagine that, it's not one of those things where you're not thinking okay, so season 2, it's this is big. This could be really, really big and so fun and so much to do. It's almost the perfect thing in my mind where when you think about doing a creative project that's really off the wall, cartoon is well, you can do anything in the cartoon world. There's no rules. Mm-hmm. You guys actually have that in the real world. It's so dope. You can do whatever you want. It's so cool. It's so cool.
It's to the point where trying to find the scope for what we want it to become eventually has gotten a little bit out of control. We've got a 60-minute pilot written. We've got a 30-minute pilot written. We've got ideas for pretty much any scenario that we could encounter and anything.
And we got 10 different pilots written. We've got
so much.
20 different versions of this. It's almost working against us at this point because we've been working so hard to because it is such an expansive idea. It's been hard to kind of hone it in to find out exactly what we want. But I think we're definitely on the right track of what we're looking for. So we can talk about that stuff as well.
Interesting. Yeah. So go in any direction you want. I mean, I have tons of questions about the actual. Let's focus on the show that exists.
So
first,
just to stop for just a second, are we? Should we be recording right now?
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Or are we already going?
I've been recording from the start, Sean.
Oh, I did. I figured it'd be like, hey, it's Matt Neal's podcast. All right, let me record real quick. So I think
that's put in post production.
Yeah, we do that in post.
Okay. All right. Well, I didn't know.
Got a theme song, everything.
Okay. Well, now I'm actually recording. Okay.
Right,
I'm sorry.
I'll be able to compare your
right.
direct feed to Zoom's feed and layer them over each other, and we'll see what happens.
All good.
No worries. Go ahead.
So
let's focus
one more time, please.
Let's focus on the show now, and the one that's out that people can see, and what. Talk about the origin of that. You said it was really interesting, like getting John. The whole, just whatever. I want to hear the whole thing. I'm in.
All right. Well, this idea kind of stemmed from goes pretty far back. We started. Ben, you start.
I'm trying to remember even what year it was. But Sean and I were both working at the Apple store at the Beverly Center. And Sean came to me with an idea. We had just gotten to talking one day, found out he was a filmmaker. I was out in LA doing the screenwriting thing. He came to me with the idea of just a Grim Reaper. I forget exactly where you were at with the idea at the time.
Okay. Well, at the time, it was just kind of a seed of an idea. It was just kind of this guy that walks around. He's deaf and he hates everybody. And I just imagine these little moments where he's just flipping people off, but nobody can see him. And I knew I wanted him to work for a company, but we weren't really sure what the company was. And I had talked to a few other folks and got some ideas, and I tried to get some other writers on board. And basically, our manager at Apple connected us together. We did the classic, producer take out the writer, pitch the idea. Yeah. And a couple weeks later, Ben sent me an incredible short, because as I mentioned, we were going to try and make that into, as the pitch for the show. Yeah. And he hit on so many incredible points on that script, on the relationship that death has with with his hits or with his victims, or the people that are, or we call them now mortality meetings. So it was a great exchange he had back and forth, and it really hit on the notes. And I was super impressed. I actually was reading the script while I was at Disneyland, and I just got super excited. And I just, I think the hardest thing is to get pages out of a lot of writers. It's there's a lot of writers, but it's hard to get pages out of them. And when I got these, it was just from there on out, we worked on revisions, and we found a through line to keep it going and keep it moving.
Was the first short the whole web series with all the encounters, or some version of what one episode would become? Do you know what I mean? Did you write the whole series or one episode?
Yeah, it was actually totally different. I think the original short was basically about Sam, the Grim Reaper, being on a mortality meeting, but letting the person live. And then things kind of spiraled out of control from there. And then from there, we were like, all right, but I don't know if we're going to be able to shoot this ourselves. We kind of want to shoot it ourselves. We want to at least have a proof of concept. And that's when we started whittling it down to what you see in the web series. Gotcha. We were like, we don't need, as a proof of concept, I don't know that we necessarily need the entire story around it, but if we can just show these little bits of these mortality meetings, we're going to be able to get across what we want to get across and kind of show the heart and the comedy and all that stuff that hopefully comes across in the web series. And actually, I think episode 4 was the first one that we shot.
Episode 4.
Yeah. So we had that one and we shot that one, and we were like, okay, we should do more of these. These are not just cool for a proof of concept, but they're really fun to make. And this character is definitely one that we can do a ton of stuff with.
Because originally the idea was supposed to be a feature. We're supposed to make it into a film, and then it just kind of we did these little short subjects, and then as Ben was saying, it just kind of turned into this kind of series, and then now it's gonna we're pushing it as a series.
Yeah, and like you mentioned before, there's just so many different directions you can take it that we're like a feature wouldn't really do this justice. We wouldn't be able to explore everything that we want to explore. We wouldn't be able to bring in all the characters that we want to bring in. And that's kind of when we landed on, I think this is a show and not so much a feature.
Oh yeah. Yeah. 100%, because it's so vast and you have so much backstory to go after if you want to later, because the more invested in Sam you are, the more you want to see how he got there. It's so dope. It's so cool. So the first one was the drinker. So you shot the drinker first.
Yep. Yeah. Fun fact. We actually shot all of the episodes out of order. Like we shot 4 and then we shot 1 and then 3, 2, 5 and 4.
There's also I don't even know if it's up on YouTube, Sean, the first little proof of concept we shot that was shot at the same
It's
spot.
on Vimeo, actually. Yeah, we have an actual original proof of concept, which we actually had Sam's backstory as a Western like cowboy. We thought he was going to die back in the, Western Old West days, and then kind of be this modern, live in this modern world. So we had him kind of in this cowboy gear, and he had actually a full size scythe. And we shot this concept thing out in Santa Clarita.
That's cool. That's cool. Well, that I mean, you can still do that. That's what I was saying earlier about like you have cartoon in real life, anything can happen, right? So that is extraordinary. So like I imagine, like I said, we lost a year here for all intents and purposes. But like you take me through this from the beginning. So you get the idea, great script, you just keep going. And then at some point you decide we're shooting it and here's the order we're shooting it. And, was this after like trying to get people to buy into an idea? Did you fix a budget? Like how deep did your crew go? Like planning this is no small feat, going from working at an Apple store.
At first we didn't have a budget.
No,
we had nothing.
We didn't have a budget at all.
We were doing it off our own dime. So especially with episode 4, with the drinker, we were like, where can we shoot that is going to be as close to free as possible? How can we write an episode that has as few characters as possible, so that we can kind of plan budget around that? And that's kind of the reason why that was the first episode that we wrote and shot. And then from there, we threw a little bit more of our own money into it. It was definitely like the passion that we had for it. We were both like, don't mind dropping some of our money in here. Hopefully somebody does want to give us money eventually, so we aren't bankrupting ourselves. But it was totally worth it. And then eventually, for episodes 5 and 6, we did have an investor come in and give us a little bit of a budget, so that we could kind of, I guess, ball out a little bit and make them exactly how we wanted to. But Sean, you can probably talk a little bit more to that.
I mean, we kept crew size fairly small, and I've been very fortunate to have some very, very good friends out here in Los Angeles that help, bring in gear. At least for the first episode, the drinker one, we had a friend of mine that had a really nice cinema Sony camera, the FS7, and I rented a few lights. I used Share Grid. No plug here, but I mean, they were great. They keep things super cheap. You can get insurance with it. And so I was able to kind of piece things together. But as far as crew, I mean, we had very, very small crew. It was myself, the DP. I had a kind of a camera AC. Obviously John and the actor that was in the scene, as well as Cody as the bartender. And then I think maybe one other person that helped. Oh, and our sound person who was a mutual, was a friend of somebody else that I knew. He hopped on, and eventually all of them pretty much stayed through the whole series.
And what's the time span from wrapping up and getting episode 1 like good to go? Then you decided to do the others. Is that what you said?
Well, we did
One at a
episode
time?
4 first, and we just we made that and put it
That's what I
together
mean.
the best way we could. But then I don't know how. At some point, I think we decided to make it a show at that point and do like a series, because as Ben was saying, we were just going to do like each individual little thing. So the drinker was kind of the first one, but then I think we thought about it and we're like, we should probably go back a little further and figure out how he got here. So then episode 1 started getting written, and then we were like, okay, well, let's build up to this moment. So then we wrote 1, 2, and 3 to get to 4. And then we went from there, but we still shot them out of order. But
you knew the idea arc.
Yeah. So once we did 1, we needed to set up an arc, and that was exactly what. Because I was working at BuzzFeed at the time, and I had got some feedback from someone, and I was talking about doing all these individual episodes. But the writer I was talking to, she said, or I was getting feedback from, she said, just give them an arc, and that's it. Mm-hmm. Like, you got a small series. So then, talked with Ben. Yeah. We went back to episode 1, and we went out and shot that right after, probably a few weeks later. Each episode we took about a day to shoot each episode, but man, to get to the next one, it probably took a couple months in between each one, just in between. He and I both work full-time jobs, and we don't have, production cash just to throw around. So it was really just, I think we could do it this weekend. Let's try and put it together, and then just, roping the people in, and, Ben and I split the cost half and half, and we just did it.
I think at one point there was like 8 months between shooting episodes, maybe even more between when we shot 4 and when we shot 1. But it was like, we were always itching. We were like, we want to shoot something. We want to get this out there, and finding the time, A, to shoot stuff, B, to have people hop on board and help out as crew to get to the shoots. And then, like Shawn said, between like the full-time jobs and doing all this, it's tough to sync up sometimes. But we're trying to make it happen. Yeah.
And so you're in Chicago, you were saying, right, Ben? Is that full? That's your home. That's where you are all the time.
Yeah. So I was out in LA up until 2017, I think. Then moved to Chicago, then moved to New York for a bit. And now I'm back in Chicago.
Right on.
So it's been a really good partnership between Shawn and I. I don't know that there are many other people that I could work with, or that would want to work with me, as I'm kind of hopping around the country and being a pain in the ass with time zone differences and things like that. It's definitely interesting working so remote. However, I think the world has actually kind of joined us there. We were kind of the first ones to really start. I guess not the first ones, but we had some practice before COVID hit, and everybody had to work remote. So now it's right in our wheelhouse. Yeah.
Well, your writing is excellent, not only in the way that it kind of ties the story together so well, but the deep things you explore so quickly with nuance is just unbelievable. The scene in the hospital, the dance obviously is just one of the most elegant things I've ever seen, and that story is just so good. Like, it's just so good. So thank you for that, and man, I can't wait to see what else you come up with on this whole thing. It's great. It's great.
Thanks. Yeah, it's funny you mentioned the dance, because I think that's the one thing from the original short that we had that has made it into one of the episodes. That was in there. I think that was your idea, Shawn, to have a little dance number in there. But yeah, that was in the very first short that was written for My Death Co., which is a fun fact.
Man, it's extremely touching. It's so full of. It's just awesome, and if people like, I literally want people to turn this off and watch that before. It's just so good. So, what about like meeting? Well, let's stay on this for a minute. Let's stay on the one at a time. You shoot them one at a time. How do you know when you're at the end of it? You had written it to be 6. We're going to wrap it at 6. This is what it's going to feel like. And so you knew what the end felt like. So you guys had an end game kind of early on. Yeah.
I think so. I don't know. I think we just
for this web series.
We just kind of went, yeah, let's make it 6, and then we just went with 6. So I was like, it's chewable. It's by we keep the episode small. It's easy for people to watch. They can digest it super fast. And when you add it all up, it's basically a 30-minute pilot. Almost if you piece them all together without the credits.
Yeah. A lot of it too is the budget and just kind of the money that we had. We were like, if we do any more than 6, we're going to be poor.
Yeah.
And the amount of favors we got for this, I didn't want to stretch anything too thin. We were extremely, and I say this with extreme appreciation, but we were extremely lucky in all of the stuff that we got for this shoot. So I definitely don't like stretching people too thin on things like that. Let's just get in, get what we need, and get out. I don't want to overdo it.
Yeah, I gotta believe you also, it's one thing to get a favor from people because they're capable of doing things to help you out. It's another when they have a skill that will make the thing that you're trying to make become real because it's so good. And I gotta think you guys got a lot of that too.
I mean, insane amount. It was just like the minute we showed people episode 1, they were like, I'm in, we'll do another episode, and then we had episode 4 to show. We're like, well, we got to get to this point. So we need to make 2 and 3. And it was people skipped work or they went half day or they did whatever to do what they could do. We bet wherever we could to get people to get there. But at a certain point, it was super easy to get people on board.
Yeah, it's that's testament, that's some justification and some, really, really build you up when you're looking at it to keep going, I guess. And so now, because when I talked to John about it when it first came out, he was raving about the whole thing and your passion for the project and coming on board. And obviously, we met through Indy's project with John. It's like when you get the right people together, good things happen is kind of the way it starts to feel. And it kind of breaks open that whole bullshit myth of it's who you know. It's like, well, yes, it is who you know. And those people start to be good at things together. And we've seen that more now than ever, not just with COVID, but just the access to technology. When people can shoot a really good thing with an iPhone and nobody's telling them what to do, it's pretty incredible, So I really love what you guys have done with the thing, and it's inspiring. Talk a little bit about how those all kind of came together for you guys, and how that's helping now, and kind of what's next for the show itself. And then I want to talk about the world a little bit more.
I think, there's so much there to unload. As far as, do you mind reiterating that question a little bit?
Well, let me hone it in. Sorry. So you have this amazing thing. Everybody's coming on board. You have the story, it's good. You finish up, you're ready to go. You put it out there. Now what? Are you frustrated by waiting for next level things? Are you excited? How are you guys feeling now that you did the really hard part, which is the creation, and it's exemplary. So it's just okay, now let's keep the universe going here because we know we're on the right track, right?
I feel
Go ahead, Ben.
For me, the interesting thing is we're still in that kind of creation phase. I don't think we've given ourselves any downtime to get frustrated with it because we know that we can still make it better. And COVID has really not necessarily thrown a wrench, but kind of made us pivot the direction that we're going in.
Interesting.
Like I mentioned before, we had like a 60-minute pilot. Now we've got a 30-minute pilot. That was mainly due to the fact that we were like, okay, we don't know how long this pandemic's going to last. This 60-minute pilot that we have written is definitely not going to be able to be shot during COVID times. So the 30-minute pilot was really kind of bred from the fact that we wanted to shoot something a little bit more succinct, something that would be easier to shoot no matter what was going on in the world. And at the same time that we were kind of pivoting in that direction and rewriting that, we were having some talks with production companies and things like that. And I think that kind of kept us from getting too frustrated, which was good. And it kept us in that zone of, okay, we still need to be creating. We still need to be building on this. And just like has been mentioned a few times, the fact that there's so much that you can do with this idea, we just want to keep writing stuff. I've worked on other projects in the past few years, but like Deathco has been one of the main things that I'm constantly thinking about and constantly writing about and constantly coming up with ideas for, which definitely helps with the frustration that can stem from not really knowing where it's going to go next. But just kind of taking that lead and being like, here's where we want it to go next is a little bit liberating from that frustration.
We're also extremely cautious too, because we want to make sure that, we don't hand it off to something and we lose our creative control on it. We're very good at, we're indie filmmakers here. Like we're really good at like making it work within a budget, within reason. Like we're not like creative monsters here, but it's just something we built. We took a lot of time on, and we don't want to just hand it off. We want to find a deal that's going to work for us and work for them. Yeah. Like we know it needs to make money. We know it needs to, get broadcast. We know that there's going to be studio involvement at some point. So we're not in a rush to make something that's garbage. We want to make something that's really good. And, so we're going to stick to that. And if it takes longer to get there, then fuck it. Who cares? We're going to do it that way.
Yeah.
It's been frustrating, but it also has been really nice because, that hour-long pilot that we wrote, that Ben wrote a year ago, we look back at it and we think it's a little dark, and we were able to like remold it and take some of those ideas and move them around and understand Sam a little bit more. And now we're having weekly talks with with John involved now, and I think it's really helped kind of expanded that writing even more. And now we're getting back to the core of the idea, I think, which is Sam and the victims, the mortality meetings. And I think that was something that we want to keep as a core. I think that's what was really working in the web show.
You also just reminded me that we kind of had to pivot off of the 60-minute pilot because one of the main components of it was a pandemic. And when the actual pandemic hit, we were like, I don't know how this is going to be received now that we're actually dealing with this in real life. It's a little bit too close to the pocket. And
nobody wants to watch stuff about a pandemic. Nobody wants to see any more things with people wearing masks. Like if it's a sitcom, it works because it's a joke, but not for this. We didn't want to include that in that.
Yeah, it's crazy. You hit on a topic, and it's so I so appreciate talking to you guys because I'm kind of like at a spot right now with a project, which is where you are before you started shooting, which is making some of these decisions for creative reasons, limiting the budget, and really thinking about it as a long project. And the timing doesn't matter as much as the product, right? But it's one of those things where with COVID, A, shooting is kind of a nightmare. B, people don't want to, I've heard anywhere from a third or more budget just for COVID things. I do think people are going to not want to know about this and think about it anymore. At the same time, there's also a weird element of like, to me anyway, and maybe it's regional, I don't know, but like seeing people together on TV is a little jarring for me right now too. Like seeing big crowds, like, oh my God, how did they shoot this commercial? You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, so we're in the weirdest time. where like I could actually imagine a good Deathco episode about the pandemic with Sam like getting angry at the officials who are fucking this up while he's in an overrun hospital. Like John could pull that off very well. Like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah. So it's interesting that he's joining in because he is so much a part of this that, and his comedic timing and his writing is so good that like, yeah, he's going to add really good depth to make this character so good. How did you find John? How did you come to cast John as Sam? Sorry.
It's actually kind of funny because when we originally were writing the story, we had somebody else in mind originally for it, and we were going for a name to kind of pitch it to like make the show with. We were actually going for, should I say it, Ben?
I totally forgot about this until just now. And yeah, if you want to, you can mention who it was.
I mean, obviously we didn't go with it for the reason, but we were actually going for Louis C.K. To be the death character, which we thought was going to be really well done. And so we were kind of keeping that in the back of our mind as we were going along. Obviously now, that's not going to work. So we were kind of looking for that esque kind of character, that kind of person, because that's where the inspiration kind of came from. And I went to, I was actually going on a date, and I went to this comedy club, Bar Lubitsch, and they were doing a trivia night. There was a comedic trivia night. And I remember going there, and everybody was on stage. They were doing their thing, and John Huck was up there, and he was one of the panelists. And man, he was just cracking everybody up. He just had this like, just total John Huck kind of talk, and is, ripping the jokes, just everybody's rolling. And I'm like, this guy is hilarious.
Yeah.
And I'm like, he'd be perfect for death. And I'm like, he's got to be busy. He's got to be doing stuff. I'm like, it's going to be hard to get him. It's like, it's tough talking comedians to sometimes. So after the show, I went up to him and I said, I talked to him for a little bit, and I said, hey, are you working on anything right now? Do you got anything going on? And he goes, no. I'm like, well, would you be interested in, like talking about this role? I need somebody to play death. And he was like, yeah, sure. So we met up another day, and it's actually funny when we called him to meet up. He was like, who is this? Which person? I got a couple death things that people have brought me up for. And apparently he got hit up by somebody else to do a death project. Although I think John's got it confused. I think he thinks that we were somebody else, but I think it was the same person. He's like, wow, those people never went through, so I'll talk to you guys.
He also, our main communication between me and John has always been texting. And so he was in Chicago doing a show one time, invited me to the show. Wife and I went to the show. After the show, I was like, hey man, that was fantastic. And he was like, thanks. Who are you again? And I was like, dude, we've been texting all week. It's Ben. And he was like, oh, that's right. But we don't see each other like face to face very often. Yeah. So maybe he just forgets.
Listen, he is in demand. There are constantly people approaching him. He's one of the best, man. He's so funny. I met him through doing producing comedy shows, and he would come out and do the shows, and and the show I produced was called Comedy Ahoy, and it was at a shit bar in downtown Marina Del Rey. It was the bar was disgusting, like really disgusting, but one of the last disgusting dive bars in LA.
Sounds great.
Yeah, it sounds fantastic.
Perfect place for comedy.
It was unbelievable. We ran the show for 5 years.
Wow.
And it was like there were fights. There was a mariachi band. It was a sports bar, so sometimes we would have to wait till the game was over, and depending who won was how drunk the bar was. It was madness. It was so fun. And John did the show a bunch, and he actually met his wife at the show.
Wow.
Doing the show. So we go back a ways, and he's just so sharp. And in that environment, like you're saying, you see him, you're just like, oh my God, like it's not the easiest situation. You know, I don't know if I may have seen John once or twice in a proper comedy club. And it seems out of place. He destroys. I mean, it's incredible, but to me, I've seen him so much, and a lot of comics that I love and respect, I've seen in the trenches of bar shows because that's what I produced, and it's just a different thing. You get a different view of them as writers and thinkers and where their mind is at and how sharp they are, and like John and I'll sit and shoot the shit after a show about things for a long time, and this show is one of the things that we would talk about, you know, while he was doing it, when it came out, and then since then, now that he started his podcast and stuff, and it's just rewatching it again, I was like, man, you know, casting directors would go their whole careers to try to find something this perfect, you know. It's so funny that Louis C.K. was the inspiration. Like, I could see that a little bit, but yeah, good job. So then you get him in. He finally realizes who you are, and now you're shooting. You know.
Well, yeah. Now we're moving along. We were shooting that proof of concept out in Santa Clarita, and that was when we first started it. And then from there, I think we didn't even show that right away. That was just kind of something we wanted to keep we didn't put it on the web or anything like that. We just wanted it as like a test or something like that to see, you know, who we could show it to like go to the next, you know, but that was supposed to be the short, like the hit, you know, and that was going to be what we were going to use. But
I think we were using it for we were going to use it for a Kickstarter video.
That's right.
That's why we shot it, was for a Kickstarter. And going back to John again, I still compare like every interaction I have with other comedians to John on the set of that Kickstarter video. I just remember him sitting in like the makeup chair, and I've never laughed so hard in my life. Just as he's sitting there getting the Grim Reaper makeup put on, he was just, it's like he's on all the time. But yeah, that was for a Kickstarter video. We wound up not actually ever using it, not launching a Kickstarter, and kind of going the ultra indie route for the first few episodes instead.
Why did you veer off Kickstarter? Just curious.
Ben, do you want to answer that question?
I don't even know that I remember. I think
you were always against the Kickstarter though. Yeah. And you had valid points. I totally get it. But yeah, you're always the one that was kind of like, oh man, but we need people already to buy in at certain amounts so we can make that money. And we just
I had known people who had done Kickstarter, and really from what I had heard was that if you don't already have a following, or you don't already have at least like one or two large donors ready to go to donate right away, to kind of give other people that sense that, oh, this is going to get funded, that it's really tough to get all that funding. So that kind of pushed me away. I have in the past, like I have been in the music scene a little bit too, and had friends try to do Kickstarters there and seen them fail pretty hard. And I just didn't want to launch that, have that go wrong, and then have us be in a hole from the start.
You didn't want us to be a failed Kickstarter or a failed crowd campaign. And I appreciate that.
And I believed in us. I believed that we could do it without having to do that. That together we could figure out how to do this for a low budget but high quality, which I think we achieved pretty well. More so thanks to other people helping us out and believing in us as well. But I think in the end, not doing the Kickstarter video was probably good. I think it challenged us more than anything.
Yeah, I feel like there's a mix, because if you need the Kickstarter to do the project at all, there's some psychological strangeness to that, where it's like, I was going to do this, but I need somebody else's funding. Whereas if it's like, we did this, we did everything we could possibly do, this is the last step if you want to help, because I contributed to some, and there is kind of, but to your point, they were more, well, some were bigger than others, but it's just like, there is a belonging to it on a larger scale for $5 that is good too. You know, there's everybody's in kind of feeling. But I agree with you that it's like if your life of doing it depends on the Kickstarter being successful, that feels a little weird, and also like you haven't done everything you could do before you got there. Does that make sense? It's almost like now you could do a Kickstarter because you're like, look, we both put in our entire lives here. We're being told. I mean, I don't even know what would trigger such a thing, but like now that you have it, you're in control, so you don't really need anything at this point. But like, if for some reason you needed to all of a sudden have $100,000 to do something to take it to the next level, you could almost justify it now. But it's like you don't need to do that now, which is brilliant. It's beautiful. Like it's a good thing to have come through that, you know, because people want to see that you've done everything you can. Now they can help, as opposed to like charity kind of deal, I guess. Right.
Yeah. And I don't know.
We didn't just want to present storyboards and a script and go like, okay, well, we want to, you know, like give us $100,000, you know, like, it's nice to have footage. It's nice to have, all that, but go ahead, Ben. I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, you're good. I was just going to say, I don't know that the first few episodes would have turned out as well as they did if we had money to play with. I feel like part of the reason why they turned out so well is because we had to make decisions on exactly what shots we were going to take, exactly what, like how long the script was going to be, exactly what we wanted in there. I kind of go back to reading Robert Rodriguez's Rebel Without a Crew and how some of the best parts of, is it El Mariachi? I think, he says in the book, he's like, we only made this shot because we had to, like we had one chance at this and it turned out so well because we wanted it to be, or we weren't thinking, oh, if we mess up, we can do it again. We were thinking we have to get this right the first time. Right. And I think that with a very low budget, that comes into play a lot, where you're like, we have to make the right decision here. Instead of being able to be flexible and a little whimsical in the way that we do this, we're going to do it right the first time. And I think that's part of why those first few episodes turned out the way they did, is because we kind of knew that this is our shot to do this. Yeah. We're going to make sure that it's good.
And that's why we chose like locations with very limited people. Like the episode 1 was just like in the middle of the desert. And, you know, I fortunately had a friend that had a big piece of land, or she lived right next to a big piece of land. And she was like, nobody goes out there, so it shouldn't be a problem. And we found a great location, and it was just 2 actors, and it was super easy to just go out there and shoot. We didn't have to rent any lights. We didn't need any power. We did it with reflectors, and, you know, we rented a dolly to make the shots nice and smooth, and everything else was like handheld or on sticks, you know?
Yeah. Is that, it reminded me, because I forgot about the first episode, how it's just played so well. Like it's just such a neat idea. Like it's just such a neat idea that it's his first day of work. He sucks at it. And you're like, literally the whole time, even though I'd seen it before, spoiler alert, the whole time I'm watching that episode, I'm like, yeah, how is she going to die from her legs hurt? This doesn't make any, like I couldn't remember. I was like, how does she die? And then I was like, that's so brilliant. It's so brilliant. It's just so good. So
that's Ben's sick humor, you know, of having her in agony in the background. And, you know, Sam's just kind of like, yeah, I guess I could have did that a little better.
So the other thing that's really neat is like, his brother thing was so good. I mean, it's so good. Like, do you think that this is the one I wanted to ask you that I didn't put in there before. It was like, A, kind of what would you do differently? And then B, if and when let's say when you have the opportunity to shoot this on a different level, say with a bigger budget, whatever the case may be, as a series, will you revisit what's in the web series? Again, like these were commercials for the episode of that, or do you have, you must have, where just you guys go. I don't know.
Well, I know we definitely are bringing back certain elements into that. We've definitely played with the brother idea a bit. Yep. and that's not off the table. I mean, it's definitely something we're talking about.
I very much on the table.
Yeah, that's okay.
I was working on it last night, and it's very much on the table.
Oh, this is new information. Okay,
right?
See how it happens, Matt? We just kind of like start chatting, and then just things, just, it just starts moving forward again. But we definitely, definitely going to be getting the brother in there. But Matt did such a great job, and those two worked really well together. It was actually funny. I was talking with John about who we got to the cast for that, and I was
Matt
like,
McCarthy, right?
I think I got Matt McCarthy. I saw him at a comedy club, and I approached him, and we exchanged info. And then we had a little meeting, and he was in. So I talked to John, and I said, "Oh, I got Matt McCarthy." And John's like, "You got Matt McCarthy?" Like, holy shit! Like, that's awesome. So it was pretty cool.
Yeah, Matt McCarthy's great.
He's
he's exceptional. Yeah, I mean, dude, everything. What comedy club was that, or where did you shoot the comedy scene?
So we shot that at it was a bar called Sycamore Tavern. And in the back of the area, there's like an upper floor, and there was a comedy club, the Dojo Comedy Club.
Okay.
So up there, I don't know who ran it at the time. I forgot. But Cody, who was the bartender in episode 4, is a really good friend of mine. And she introduced me to the guy that runs that club.
Okay.
And it was kind of funny because we actually got that location for no cost. They let us shoot in there. I don't think he understood the scope of what we did in that episode. And I really liked that episode just because we had so many extras. But what we actually did is we actually invited people to come to watch a real show, but then let them know that there'll also be an extra in an episode. So what we did was we invited, a lot of them were friends, but the rest were just kind of people that came because they liked the show or whatever. Yeah. But we actually had comedians go up and do sets in between when we were moving our takes. So we would move the camera around and do our shots. Then we'd get Matt up there, do his bit. And then when we want to change camera moves, we'll move him off, get a comedian up there. But we kept the show going, and we shot that in just a few hours to get all that coverage. But we shot all the big wides first so we can get all the people in. And then gradually as the night progressed, people start leaving and they get drunk and whatever. So they're not as interested anymore, clapping a million times with the same fucking joke. Yeah. So we did all the wides first and then worked our way into the scene where it's just the two of them. And that was when everybody had left. We did all the close-ups and such there. But so I think a couple days later, I went back to the club to thank the guy for letting us shoot there. And he's like, "I didn't know you guys were doing all that. I thought you guys just wanted to shoot somebody's set. Like, I didn't know you guys wanted to do a whole short." So we were able to pull it off, the best we could. But I don't know where I was going with that, but I really love the way that episode came out.
I think we're onto something with that too. Having like comedians there between takes to keep the extras happy.
They loved it. That's what I was thinking.
They loved it.
Yeah.
I mean, that would be amazing. I've been to like Jimmy Fallon tapings or whatever, and it's boring 90% of the time. But I think it was on Undateable. They would have like musical artists come in and play the theme song, and then in between takes have them play like little like mini concerts.
You make it entertaining for people. You don't need, you're right. When you go to those shows, like they have the warm-up comic, but it's hacky, and then, I mean, some of them are hacky. I mean, I think Brody did that. Brody Stevens did that. I'm sure that wasn't hacky. That was probably amazing. But, like those shows are crazy. Like when people come to LA and you go visit a show, it's like, well, you can't eat or pee for 7-8 hours, but you'll see some celebrities and eat some candy that a guy throws at you. Like it's glamorous as hell,
The time you do have to eat, all you can get is like Subway from City Walk, which is not what you want to be eating on a day when you can't go to the bathroom for the next 7 hours.
Or they give you a box lunch with like a crappy sandwich and a cookie and a bag of shitty chips,
They really treat the audience like shit.
They do. They're pretty awful. I don't like having that experience. I like having a fun, inviting set. I like keeping it open for people to collaborate and talk. So I was very conscious about making sure everybody was entertained and the show kept moving. We get our take, we get whatever shot we needed. Then we move our camera. Immediately I had a host go up. Kenny was awesome. He ended up being an associate producer with us. So he helped us get ton of locations and actors.
He was in episode 2 as well.
He was in, Yeah, he was the pool guy.
Oh, okay.
in
Sexy
episode
pool
2.
boy.
Oh, dude, that's so
But yeah,
funny.
I think we definitely wanted to keep that kind of environment. We had full food service going. We had drinks going. I mean, they had to pay for it, but we definitely made sure everybody had whatever they needed at their fingertips.
And we let
That's
them go to
great.
the bathroom too, right, Sean?
Oh.
We didn't
No,
force
no,
people
no,
to
no
hold
bathroom
for 7
breaks.
hours.
No,
That's a luxury, you know?
Keeps them on their toes.
Literally.
Oh my
Just
god.
dancing around.
So the subject matter for the bigger project is on the table. That's cool. I think a lot of times people, see if you agree, like a lot of times artists, comedians, musicians kind of get wrapped around the axle a little bit in thinking that once they lay something down, they can't do it again. Musicians obviously play the same song over and over again, but like they very rarely record a version of the same song over and over again, which I think is sort of a miss as being a musician myself. Like we have the version that you recorded in the studio, and back in the day, to your point earlier about it costs money to record. So you got to do a good job. You have to be rehearsed. You're getting 2 takes at this, and this is what it's going to be because we don't have any more money. Mm-hmm. So there is something to that capturing of the moment. But, the idea being that you go through these pockets of creativity and then you can't redo them is kind of crazy because it doesn't mean everybody's seen it already. If they've seen it already and liked it, they're going to appreciate that you revisited it, improved on it, changed it, whatever the case may be. It's kind of interesting that we could see that what we saw was version 1.0 of this project, and version 2.0 is going to be so much. It's going to be so much cooler, and along this same vein, I wouldn't be upset if you shot the hiker scene again. You know what I mean? But you had different things around. You know what I'm saying? Like just recording it once doesn't mean you can't do it again, I guess is the way.
No, I would
So,
totally
that's cool.
like the bar scene, the drinker episode 4. I would absolutely, I have so many different ways I would shoot that now. I'd have so much more people at the bar. I would make it so much more intimate, and I definitely would have Frank would be a little more drunk. I would do a lot. I would definitely change the look and aesthetic of it, but still keep the core of the story there. The hiker would be fun too. I think the biggest thing that I regret in that episode is we never went back later in the year when it was all green, because those hills are all dead grass, but a certain time of year, all those hills are green. And I would have loved if we went back at the end of the series of the web show while it was all green and beautiful, and actually had the bones and the skeleton of the person that died there. And he's kind of like giving her closure, a little late, but he's, following through. Like that would have been a really nice arc, like having all the dead grass and that live tree in episode 1, and then go back later with everything green and beautiful, that he's grown and he's changed and he's going back to that moment. That's one. I think that's one regret out of anything I'd have.
Episode 6 does take place in the same spot as episode 1. Definitely.
And the Kickstarter video.
Backdrop. Yeah, and the Kickstarter video, all in the same spot. Definitely a different backdrop for episode 6 than episode 1, but they do take place in the same area.
Huh. Yeah, it's really interesting. There's like these weird paradoxes in it that are really fascinating, and that he sometimes seems to be the cause of their death, even though that's impossible. So I'm sure that messes with his head a little bit. There's so much, because what happens when it's over? Does he meet those people? Like there's just it's
We're
endless.
playing with all that stuff.
Yeah.
All these questions. Like, I mean, I got to tell you, it's crazy having a project like this and having the amount of people input their ideas. Like you always get somebody that's got an idea, but we literally had people like write a script and give it to us of what episode would be. And when, at different festivals we go to, like, conversations at the bar, like, oh man, this is like a whole expansive world. You can go with this and you can try that. There could be all these other departments and da-da-da. And so, I mean, we're definitely taking in all that feedback. and
at My
see
Deathco.
how we can make that work.
Like, yeah, we haven't seen the company yet. We've only seen Janet, right?
Yeah, Janice. We've only seen her
Janice.
those times, but we touched Deathco a little bit on the last episode. But
When he's in
honestly,
the office,
we didn't know. We don't really know what it's supposed to look like. Like I just was like, well, it needs to be like a really bland office environment, and we shot everything at that low angle because that entire room. First of all, there's the only location we get for free that was like a nice looking, somewhat office. Actually, it was a very nice office, but from what it looks like on the low angles, it doesn't look that way. But the whole freaking room is windows. So like everything's got a reflection. So most of those shots had to be done at a low angle, or directly over the shoulder. I think there was only a couple of shots we could really work in there. And that's after we had shot the dance scene that day. So we had that was the longest day of Deathco history. I usually try and keep them under 8 hours because crew and stuff are there. I don't like keeping people there for too long. This was the longest day that we had, though.
Yeah.
I think that definitely goes back to retreading on the ideas. That's one situation where, like, I think when we go back to that, it's going to be amazing to hopefully, fingers crossed, have a budget for that office and exactly what it looks like. And like what we've been kind of picturing in our heads, having that come to life on screen. I think other ideas you definitely have to be careful when you go back to kind of retreading on those ideas. Like you were mentioning with music, there are a few artists that I listen to who have written this song that's awesome. It kind of catapults them up to being a known name. And then like an album or two later, they're like, let's re-record this because this was the song that got us big. Now we actually have a following. Maybe this will be our radio hit as well. And when they re-record it with the better production, it kind of loses some of that charm and it loses a little bit of that intimacy. And so I think as we go back and we retread and go back to some of these ideas, we're just going to have to be careful that we're not overdoing it with the production, and we remember kind of what made it connect with people in the first place and make sure that stays in there. Cause I think it would be really easy for someone to be like, hey, you guys have a multi-million-dollar budget. Let's remake that scene from episode 1. And we have wind up with CGI mountain lions or something that attack. And it's like, this does not look good.
You can only retread for the right reasons.
Exactly.
Yeah. Like if we had money, we would have done this way. And that's why we have to redo it. Not, hey, this worked. Let's do this again. Yeah. To your point, like the Jar Jar Binks version.
Yep.
And you were you were extremely ahead of your time, although much more blatant about it with the episode for basically Black Lives Matter and the closing episode was extremely powerful.
Mm-hmm. That was a very tough day. And we made sure it was a tough episode in general, because we knew we wanted to touch on that subject. And we definitely wanted to make sure we represented it appropriately and accurately. So we definitely consulted Tristan, who is a great friend of ours. We definitely consulted with him to make sure that we're reaching the tone properly and we're representing it properly. I mean, look, we're two white dudes bringing up this story, but I think it's important for us to acknowledge what is happening out there in the only way we know how to do it. And it's like, each side's got an opportunity. Let me word this right. We just want to make sure we represented it properly. And we really, Ben wrote that like a year before we even shot it. So it took us time to like get to that point. It was a tough episode to shoot though. I was definitely pulling my hair out most of that day.
I wrote it and I was like, Shawn, I think this is good, but there's no way we're going to shoot this unless we have somebody who is impacted by this sort of thing. Take a look at it, tell us that we're on the right track. And so we met up with Tristan. I was on like a business trip to LA. Shawn, Tristan, and I all got together, went over it, made sure that what we were saying from our perspective was what Tristan felt needed to be said. And we definitely made a few edits from there after talking to him. But I think that's the biggest thing is like, I was like, I can't write this by myself. I don't feel like I have the right to write this by myself. So that was when we were like, yeah, we got to have Tristan involved. Tristan had also actually worked with us at the Apple Store, which is kind of crazy looking back now. Like Tristan's got bigger on BET. He's been in a few different things.
Insecure on HBO.
Like, I mean, even back when we worked at the Apple Store, it was like, yeah, this dude is a star. Like, he's great, insanely talented.
And he's so down to earth. He's so friendly. He's incredibly, he's just an incredible person. Love that guy. Yeah. We love you, Tristan.
Yep. So we were definitely glad he came in and helped us out on that episode, and then also was willing to be in it. And I think his performance in that episode makes it. Like, there multiple people have been like, I was shaking watching that episode because the performances were so good.
Yeah, it was extremely powerful. Everybody in it, and it was excellent. So yeah, in terms of revisiting things that I don't know if you need to revisit that, but maybe you do, and maybe more people need to see it too, because it was striking, and I definitely thought of it when George Floyd happened, and obviously that's in the news now, and it's just like, yeah, there's definitely something wrong here.
Yeah. Well, and the first thing that comes to your mind when that happens is like, oh, let's put out episode 6 and let's broadcast it. It's like you want to be respectful and not tone deaf and just, put it out to get gain on it. But I mean, we do think it's an important episode. We want people to watch it. But I mean, it would have been incredibly inappropriate to do that. So we definitely do want to touch on topics like this, because I mean, death is not discriminatory. Death is everybody. So yeah, we are definitely going to touch on those topics for sure when we can, and humorize it when it's appropriate, and make it serious when it is, necessary to do that.
And that, I think that's kind of our main goal with this, is for it to be funny and it to be a comedy, but also we want to say something that matters, and we want to kind of use Deathco to hopefully make a difference, and to bring to light any injustices that we see, any inequalities, things like that. Like, that would be the perfect situation, is to find a home for this where it's okay to do that. I mean, we're seeing it a little bit more all across TV right now. The Falcon and the Winter Soldier is getting into kind of injustice and inequality a little bit more, and it's great to see that. Like, I love that people are I don't even want to say taking the chance, because it shouldn't be viewed as taking a chance. It should just be viewed as like, they're saying what needs to be said. But it's definitely good to see that shows and movies and everything are really kind of hammering that in. And it's interesting to see the reactions that fan bases have to things like that.
Art can lead the culture in the right direction, always, right? I mean, that's the idea. It's a beautiful thing. You guys have done incredible work. It's super inspiring, and I just really thank you guys so much for giving me the time to chat. It's been really awesome. I'm inspired and so just I love the work, man, and anything I can do to amplify it, make sure people see it, and follow what you guys are doing. The idea of having fans write ideas and stuff like that, that's huge. I mean, this is an engaged, it's like, it could be a really engaged project, because you've delivered so beautifully on the vision itself, that it's a vehicle for, the fans of this, of my Deathco, like it's almost like you've manifested it for real. It's really cool. It's really, really cool.
Thank you.
So blown away by it, and so thankful for your time to chat about it. I think people are going to be, anybody who listens would be really excited to hear about it. And, anything you wanted to plug or say or talk about, or where people can find you, any of that kind of stuff?
mydeathco.com will take you directly to the list of episodes on YouTube. We have an Instagram page, although we've been very light on our posting this last year, just because, we've been kind of in development stage, and, I think we're giving social media a little break, because we were pounding it pretty hard when we had our screening. But yeah, so we're definitely coming back, and we're going to come back full force. We've got we're working on our new pilot, our new deck, and everything, and we're going to pitch it out hardcore, but we're going to keep it on YouTube. We want people to watch it. We want people to see it. So mydeathco.com takes you right to YouTube. Check it out, and then if you find us on Instagram, My Deathco Series or at My Deathco Series, and you can direct DM us there if you have any questions, or if you know where you can get us to some networks for some distro and a deal would be awesome. That's what we're looking for.
Right on, right on.
Yep.
This is so cool. Thank you guys for taking the time on a beautiful Saturday morning, and I appreciate you guys very much. I hope we can talk more, and maybe even as things progress, maybe have an update in a couple months when we're in better position to shoot things and make things happen. Like it's gonna be really cool. I'm excited for you guys.
Thanks.
Congratulations.
Hopefully we do have some updates coming up. That'd be great.
Yeah, man.
Always
Thank you guys for this.
But thank you for having us, and whatever else you need from us, let us know. But looking forward to talk to you again soon.
Yeah, man. Thank you guys. Sorry for the technical difficulties, and we'll do this again. Very nice meeting you.
Oh,
You
good.
too.
Same
You
here.
too.
Have a good one.
See you,
Later.
buddy.
See ya.
I said to myself, this fair ain't never gonna go too well. But why should I try to resist when, baby, I know too well that I've got you under my skin. I'd sacrifice anything come what might for the sake of having you near, in spite of a warning voice that rings in the nights, repeats and repeats in my ear. Don't you know, little fool, you ain't never gonna win. Use your mentality, wake up to reality. But each time I do, just the thought of you makes me stop just before I begin.